Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Rich Woman Rising podcast. I'm your host, Eloise Tompkins, and I'm a money mindset coach and psychologist. I am obsessed with helping women make more money in their business without the hustle so that you can enjoy your life. And today, I want to talk about in this episode the fact that your thoughts are not facts. Let me just repeat that. Thoughts are not facts. I think that we can get so hooked into the narratives that our mind spits out because they're familiar. And those thoughts feel really, really familiar. And so we kind of jump on them and go, oh, yeah, I'm having a thought. And because I'm having that thought, then must be true. No, that is not true. I just want to share that with you. It is not true. Just because you're having a thought doesn't make it a fact. And I think that can be really, really difficult sometimes because our thoughts really like to Velcro into our mind. And when we kind of get those thoughts, they can leave us feeling a particular way. When we get hooked onto a thought like, oh my gosh, I'm really not good with money, then we start to feel despair. Like, oh, I'm not good with money. Oh. And when we have those feelings that are associated with it, they become kind of like Velcroed together. And it can be really difficult to peel apart the thought from how we feel because we just get hooked. Because we're living on autopilot every day. We are just living life on autopilot, doing our thing. And we're not really taking the time to stop, pause, and reflect on what is going on in our mind, what is going on in our body. We're just thinking about the next thing that we need to do, the next decision that we have to make, the next thing in our business, the next email that we need to send, the next time we need to eat. We're not thinking about how we think. And so all of the thoughts that are just floating free in our brain become our automatic reality. And so that's why I just want to share with you today and create a little bit of space to remind you that those thoughts are not fact. Disclaimer, maybe some of them are, like the sky is blue. And if you have that thought, yes, that is a fact, but not all of your thoughts are going to be facts. Take, for example, I'm not good with money. Now, you might not be great with money, but is it a fact that you are not good with money? Or is it that you have been conditioned throughout your life to believe that you're not good with money? Is it that you just haven't learned how to manage your money and you avoid it and you put it off? And so you don't do the things that you need to do with your money because you keep getting sucked into that thought. And because it feels like a fact, it becomes true. It almost becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy. But is that actually true? I'm not good with money, or it's just something that you've believed for such a long time that it almost feels like it's true. Because if it's not actually a fact, then the really cool thing about that is you can change it. You can do something about that. And one of the ways that you can do that is kind of look for evidence, like, is there evidence for that thought? What kind of evidence is around you that you're bad with money? And if you're an entrepreneur who is running a successful business, then you can't be bad with money because you're running a successful business, right? So that tells me that you're not stupid, you're very smart. So those thoughts are just kind of getting a little bit hooked into some old beliefs. And what I kind of wonder with some of our thoughts is, where did they come from? Like, where did your belief come from? So, for example, another thought that a lot of women have is, I can't earn more than what I'm earning now. I don't know how to create more money. And for me, one of my thoughts was, not now, but back in the past, was I could only earn around $65,000 a year because of how much my dad earned. I'm like, I can't out earn my dad. And it wasn't really a conscious thought. But it played out in my behaviors. It was more subconscious. I wouldn't apply for jobs that had more than that salary. If I did apply for a job that had more than that salary, I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm not qualified for that job. There's no way I'm going to get it. And surprise, surprise, I never got those jobs. Or if I did get an interview, I would panic so much and like completely mess up the interview. But it's not a fact, because I am earning more than 65,000 and I am out earning my dad. So that thought was not a fact, but for a long time, I bought into that thought and it reinforced all of the decisions that I was making in my life and in my business, and impacted my income, impacted my ability for the success that I wanted. And I see this play out over and over again with people, where we get hooked into these thoughts that we believe are true, that actually aren't. They're not facts. And then we start making decisions that are based on what we perceive to be true, and then wonder why we keep sabotaging ourselves. We're like, oh my goodness, why can't I reach my goal? Because we're getting hooked into this. So we need to learn how to kind of unhook from those thoughts. And some of the ways that we can unhook from those thoughts is, one, by being aware of what those thoughts are to begin with, and taking some time to reflect on them. Because if we're not even aware of what those thoughts are, then it can be really tricky to know what it is that we're even looking at. So as you're listening to this episode, you might be thinking about some of the thoughts that go through your mind in relation to your business and in relation to your relationship with money, around some of those thoughts that you have. It might be, I'm not good with money. That's certainly one that comes up a lot. I don't deserve to be wealthy. Success isn't possible for me. I just don't know that I'm going to be able to achieve my goals. And then look for some evidence for that, and see what kind of evidence you can find. And I'm talking about the evidence that you could use in a court of law, not evidence that's a bit wishy-washy, like, well, I think it, therefore it's true. No, that would not hold up in a court of law. And if you're bad with money, well, okay, are you homeless? Are you unable to pay your bills? Are you bankrupt? If the answer to those are no, then, it might be looking at, well, actually, I've been paying my bills, or I'm on a payment plan for my bills. Like, maybe I haven't got them all paid up to date, but I've got a payment plan. Maybe I'm not looking at my bank statements as often as I would like. However, I roughly know how much is in my account. Maybe you impulsively spend a little bit of money when you are feeling stressed at work. And because you do that, that's the evidence that you have for, I'm not good with money. And I'd also challenge that. I don't know that that means that you're bad with money. It's one thing that you do, but what are the other things that are evidence against the fact that you're bad, that you're not good with money, or that you can't earn more, or that you don't deserve to be wealthy? Because when you can start to look for some of that evidence that goes against that thought that you're having, we want to kind of pull more and more evidence towards that, so that we can de-strengthen that belief. Because the way that our brain works, it likes to pull all of the evidence to that belief. It's like, okay, I'm not good with money. I can't earn more than I do now. I'm bad with money. Financial success, that's not for me. That's for other people, but not me. Our brain will filter through all of our experiences, and it will look for evidence that supports that. It supports that thought that you're having. And it will actually disregard all of those positive experiences that you've had. It'll disregard all of the things that you've done that have showed you that you can achieve wealth, that you're not bad with money, that you can't earn more than you do now. Your brain actively filters that information out because it's looking for evidence to support your negative belief, which is why it's so important to take this time to really stop living on autopilot and take stock of your life. Because if you want to make change, then you actually need to slow down. You need to pause. You need to reflect. You need to be with yourself. You need to look inwards, because that is going to be the way for you to move to that next level. So if you're wanting to move to that next level, slowing down and being introspective is a really powerful way to do that. Does it suck at times? Yeah, sometimes it does suck, because sometimes some of the stuff that we come up against and look inwards and discover can be kind of confronting. It's like, far out. Okay, well, I thought this about myself, and now I'm seeing this evidence that's not quite aligned with that. What's the dealio with that? Because it's challenging the things that we have believed to be true for such a long time. But it's also really cool, because when you can challenge some of those thoughts and can challenge some of those experiences that you've had, then it gives you a bit of room and leeway to move forward and to be able to create a different path for yourself. And that becomes really powerful. So I really hope this episode has helped you to take that time to just stop living in autopilot for a moment and to start thinking about your thoughts, which is something that we don't really do very often. And I forget that I do it. Sometimes I think about my thoughts and I'm like, but even sometimes I don't. And I'll have somebody, like one of my coaches, point something out to me and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because we get so caught in living on autopilot and living in accordance to our own stories that we forget to slow down. And that's one of the things that we do in the Millionaire Mindset Academy, is really help to understand ourselves on a deeper level, help to slow ourselves down so that we can learn more about our relationship with money, and so that we can develop the tools to change our relationship with money, which is really, really powerful. So if you have found this episode helpful, then chances are you would love the Millionaire Mindset Academy, because we get the opportunity to dive deep into our relationship with money. We get the opportunity to really slow down, learn more about ourselves, and therefore our relationship with money, which is really, really powerful. So I will pop the link to the Millionaire Mindset Academy in the show notes below if you are interested in learning a little bit more about that. I'd love to see you in there, because it's such an amazing community of women who are on the path of changing their relationship with money permanently through subconscious reprogramming, which is super fun. So yeah, I'll pop the info below for you in the show notes. But I will see you all next week for another episode where we will continue to chat about the psychology of money and ways that you can up-level in your life and in your business. So until then, take care, and I will chat with you next week. Bye.